Hey guys, welcome to Drita Uncut. I have a special guest. Big Steve is in the house. He has an incredible book that we're going to talk about that has just launched, and it is called From Orphan to Millionaire. You can't get better than that. And look how cute. Look how cute. Big Steve is big boy now. So what I want to tell you before we start talking to Big Steve is I did not read the book. I know nothing about the book. I mean, I know a lot of times, like during podcasting, the person will know. They'll be like, oh, I love the book, and then they'll start discussing it. It was my choice not to read the book prior to the interview because I really want to learn the same time as you. So everything he's saying, I have no idea. I didn't even want to talk to him when I came inside. I was like, don't talk to me. That's how real this conversation is going to be. So if you're in shock, so am I. So Big Steve, we're going to talk about your book. And just like, honestly, the title alone is what was, for me, I would want to read this just from the title. Mm-hmm. And you were cute as hell.
Thank you, thank you.
But the story From Orphan to Millionaire is just, it's incredible. And I want to know everything about everything. So
sure,
we're going to start from the beginning on, what happened and why you were an orphan, and we'll go through, the challenges and everything you've been through.
Okay.
Okay. So, you said you're Colombian?
Yes.
Colombian.
I'm Colombian. I was born in Cali, Colombia. My family was involved with the drug cartel. My uncle was a mule for the cartel. It wasn't until that he wanted to get out of the cartel and have a different life that the cartel killed my family in the kitchen when I ran out the back. I ran out the back door and I got to the closest church, and two nuns took me in, cleaned me up. That's how I became an orphan. And then I lived in the orphanage for a little less than a year before two doctors from Connecticut flew to Cali, Colombia, and adopted me. They picked me out of all the kids in the orphanage. And then that was the beginning of my life, changing from Cali, Colombia, to now living in the States.
How old were you?
I was about 6.
You were that young.
Yeah.
And so your uncle wanted to do the right thing and try to get out, right?
Yeah, I mean, in Colombia, there was a lot of famine, a lot of poverty. He moved drugs for the cartel to pay for things for food and clothes. I don't really know what my father did, but they used to fight back and forth as a little kid. I mean, I was 5 years old. I don't remember all the fights, but I knew that he was involved with the drugs and the cartel, and he would give my family money. My mother used to just, cook and just take care of the kids. And it wasn't until one night that I noticed a fight. I was sitting at the table with my family, and on the left of my eye, I hear them fighting. And we actually had bags packed because we were going to leave the following day. And then the following days when, we're eating breakfast, 3 or 4 pickup trucks, I think they were Toyotas, the old school Toyotas, guys jumped out and just let out in the kitchen. And then, And
you ran, that's when you ran out?
Well, at first, when everyone's getting hit by bullets, shrapnel, glass, my mother was alive, said a couple words, just run, and then, I had to make a decision. I sit there, I don't really know what's going on. It's just shells, and then I just ran out the back.
And you went to a church that you were familiar with, like somewhere you went with your family?
To be honest with you, I just ran out of the house. It wasn't like, oh, I'm picking that church. They're trying to kill me. Somebody help me, you know what I mean? So.
Well, they were shooting. They didn't care that you were there.
They didn't care. I mean, from the cartel back in the 80s, how it really worked is that if you're involved with the drugs and moving, serious drugs or money, if you do something wrong or you don't follow certain orders, they don't just kill you, they kill your whole family.
Wow.
And including dogs, pet, whatever, they wipe you off the planet. So that, unfortunately that happened.
Because like in the Italian mob, they don't, the kids, the wives usually. That's
put to the side. I mean, in Colombia, I don't know if you guys, they do a lot of movies on it. They'll put a lot of fear in people by hanging people, putting people on fire, and that's how they instill fear in the people, so they listen to the cartel. And as I don't know if a lot of people know, there's a lot of corruption down there with the police, the politicians. even the president at times. So that was the time that I grew up in the 80s. But all the details as far as what my jobs my uncle did, I mean, I knew that he was a mule, that he moved cocaine from this location to this location. What he was paid, I don't know that.
Well, you know what? Like you said, like they were ruthless, because that's just fucking ruthless. When you look at the Italian mob, you see how many rats there are?
A lot.
Look at the Colombian. What do you think? Nobody really wants to say shit.
No.
And
because
and
of that fear.
How could you not fucking be fear? You know, that fear, how could you not? You know that they, could do something so horrible like that. But, I can't believe that you, went through that. And did you ever, like, talk to anybody?
Well,
or, like, have help? Or was the
of
nuns
course.
that helped you?
So when I was in the orphanage, it was basically survival. For the first few months, it was just shock, to be honest with you. And then the change, it really didn't hit me until I came to America. I had my own bed, I had clothes, I had sneakers. You'll read in the book that I didn't know to eat meals at certain times, that I actually ate bark from a tree, because I had to be taught, okay, you're gonna have breakfast at this time, there's lunch, there's dinner. Like, I didn't have structure. There was no structure.
There was no structure.
So I'm learning that as I'm a little boy, in a new country, new world for me. So everything's new. So everything, all the violence that I went through was suppressed. I suppressed it. But yes, I went to therapy. I saw counselors basically my whole life. To this day, I still have.
When you came here?
Of course, when I came here.
And when you came here, the doctors adopted you, you said?
Yeah, so my mother is from Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
She has 3 PhD degrees. And my father, he's from Boise, Idaho. He was a country boy. He had a degree in mathematics.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was raised by 2 doctors that were very intelligent. And they knew because of the trauma that I went through. So I started therapy at a young age. So I saw a psychologist, I saw a counselor, just to talk about certain problems. They were a blessing, but there were also some struggles as well. Growing up, after losing my family, I was very, how do I say this, not outgoing, but I was rebellious. I mean, I was 8 years old stealing cars, 9 years old stealing from stores.
You were angry.
I was angry. I hated the world.
Yeah.
Like, I had the feeling like, what can you tell me? I just lost my whole family. Police, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Fuck you.
Yeah, and it was my father that really gave me the love. Because to be honest with you, for like 3 years, my mother wanted to give me up for adoption after stealing a few cars. She was tell my dad, I can't handle this. This is not what motherhood is. And all my father said is, he just needs love.
How old are you?
At that time, I was around 9. At that time,
wow. Yeah, but you know what? Your trauma, what you went through, you grew up so fast.
You grow up fast, but you don't know how to deal with it.
No
so
kidding.
I acted out. And what happened was, so when I came to America, I was finding my way and I was struggling with that. So what my parents did is they flew back to Colombia and adopted another little boy. And he had different sort of problems. His family wasn't involved with the cartel, but he had different problems that he had to go through, which you can read about if he writes his book one day.
Wow.
And so we were raised together.
How old was he?
He was, I want to say 10, give or take.
No, what was your age gap?
So he's younger than me.
Okay.
He's younger by a year, almost 2 years younger than me.
Now you had to be like a responsible older brother?
Well, to be honest with you, they adopted him so I would have someone to relate to, because the first 2 years when I came here, I wasn't relating to the kids at school. I realized my skin color was different. I had to learn English. I remember all of a sudden I got a whole new family, so I didn't know really what to do.
Wow.
So I'm finding myself as a young boy. I'm trying to fit in this school, not knowing the language. Then I got to learn the topics. So it was a lot for me.
That's a lot. That is a lot what you had to endure.
Yeah.
How were the kids here with you? Cool or?
At first, to be honest with you, it was hard. I was an outsider, but I masked that, to be honest with you, by making other people laugh. Like I became like the joke. I'd tell jokes because I knew what pain was. So I would want people to be around me and laugh and have a good time because I don't want people to go through the pain. But that's a coping. It wasn't until I became a man that I really understood that. you know.
Right.
And still to this day, I still have PTSD. I have nightmares of people trying to kill me and me shooting that. Like it's insane.
You're dreaming, right?
Yeah, but it's different now. It's a life-going thing, but now I know how to cope with it. I'll take anxiety medicine, or I'll practice breathing slowly. I'm all right.
Wow.
You know? But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who made the biggest impact in your life? Your father?
I can't see. That's a good question. My mother made a biggest financial impact in my life, educating me and guiding me. My father gave me the love. Now, to take it back even further, my birth mother, she actually destroyed the pictures of what I looked like. So she sacrificed her life so the cartel wouldn't know what I looked like. Because if there was pictures of me and they found them, they would be searching for me. So I really can't answer that one way or the other. One gave their life for me, one is giving me knowledge, and one is giving me love. So I love them all. I try not to think about that because it does hurt.
Of course.
That gives me a chip on my shoulder. Now you understand everything I do is 110%.
Oh, your family got to be real proud of you. Look at the outcome. Your mother destroyed that picture. She probably knew you'd be something special.
Well, she would know. If they saw the picture, they would find where I am, and they would, I wouldn't be here. You know?
But you are.
But I'm here.
With a red jacket on.
Looking
being like,
nice.
what's up?
Thank
You want to see my book? You got to get his book. I can't wait to read the book. But this is, I have to tell you, I didn't expect the story to be this intense and incredible.
It's intense.
But have you ever thought about how proud you should be of yourself?
It's funny you say that. I think I don't think that because my parents set such a high standard. Being raised by two doctors, my mother graduated first from Purdue. My father went to Indianapolis, the #1 military school. I cheated my way through high school. College wasn't for me. I'm not that guy, but I'll find a way.
But that doesn't matter. I think the richest people in the world didn't even go to college.
Yeah, so I learned that, growing up, but I was more interested in the business when I was young, and that started when I was around 8 or 9.
You were a hustler, though. You were hustling.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what you've been through. It creates a
monster.
hustler, but you had two angels that guided you, whether, how it doesn't matter. So they could be two doctors guiding any kid. It doesn't mean the kid's going to turn out successful. You did.
You're right.
It means nothing. There's kids that don't have parents and they become successful, or vice versa, or two amazing parents and the kids, a lot of people will be like, oh, that kid's lucky. Someone gave him $1 million. But the kid could blow the $1 million.
And it's funny you say that. You're absolutely right. And it's funny you say that. But see, I had the chip, I have to do something great because A, I survived. Now, B, I got adopted. So that's a chip on my shoulder. No one will know. I'll be honest, other than my brother, the pressure from my family, a lot of people would have killed themselves or overdosed on drugs. And we just keep trucking through.
I'm beyond in awe. I'm looking at you wow. Yeah, of course. You just said someone, people take the easy way out or they cope differently.
Yeah.
But to come to to go through something like that and then come to a new country and have to learn a language and, because my family from Albania, they, my first language was Albanian. So when I went to school, and back then, if you said you're Albanian, the kids are nobody was, the school I went to, there was 5 Albanians.
Oh,
now
wow.
there's 200, same school.
Yeah.
So when I said I'm Albanian, the kids are like, Albanian? What's Albanian? You know what I mean? They have no idea. I had a little accent. First of all, I went to kindergarten with a shaved head.
Wow.
I was a maniac. I shaved my fucking head. Don't even.
You did that?
I was not. My poor mother. All my mother wanted to do was have a daughter, and then I came out, and it was just she was like, "What?
Why?
My first day in kindergarten, she was like, "Drita, don't hit anybody." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna hit anybody with my shaved head, my earrings to look like a little girl." Yeah, I was always fighting with my brother, my poor brother too. He probably wanted a little normal sister that plays with dolls, instead of knocking on the door come on.
What's up? Oh man.
That's what I used to do with them.
I get it.
Yeah, so when I went to school, I remember like the first day of kindergarten, I had a fight. I punched a kid in the nose. I remember. That's why you say 5 years old. You know, you specifically remember certain things.
Oh my God, yes. Like it was
I
yesterday.
remember kicking my feet, sitting there waiting for the principal. And he's coming, and he had, do you remember this principal? Oh my God. You want to talk about fucked up? I never saw some shit like this. I was around just all Albanian family, right? I'm a little kid going to school, whatever. He had a mustache, those ones that went far like this and twisted.
Twist up, yeah.
He scared the shit out of me, bro. I looked up and I was like, he's like, you hit a little boy and his nose is bleeding? I'm 5. Now I'm thinking the kid's going to die because I saw blood, whatever. But he was abusing the shit out of me, the kid. He's like, you have no hair. You're not a girl. What's your name? Drita. Making fun of me, whatever. I just turned around and fucking cracked him. Wow. And then I remember when my mother came to the school, you know, in Albanian, she was like, she walked in talking to me Albanian, but to them she was like, how are you? To me, she was like, oh, you're in trouble.
Wow.
Yeah. So my brother was like, I knew that shit was going to happen. Yeah, first day. But I know I wasn't from another country, but the way I was raised, I felt that I was. You know, it's a culture.
It is.
It's a different world. You are in your own culture. You have your own music. You have your own, you know, everyone speaks a different language. So because I was not directly from Albania, to me, if someone said, what are you? I wouldn't say American. I always said Albanian. I still say, I'm an Albanian American, I'm born here. But when you're first generation,
it's different.
Right. So when you're saying you're going to, and you didn't speak the language, so I can't imagine. I went through hell and I spoke the language. And I was made fun of because I had an accent or whatever, and my name was different. But I can't imagine what you went through. And then you were saying you were being funny to mask. It's funny because I do the same thing.
Yeah,
so when you said that, I do that too.
I would do the jokes as a kid, and then I would also find ways to make money because I knew if I had one or the other, my life is a little easier, you know. So when we sold candy bars for flag football, and you know the coach, you got some for $1, I sold them for $5. So you got a little Steve coming home. I had $500, $600, $700. You know, and that's when I started business. You know, my mother was like, you know, you can't do that. You're robbing people. I was robbing. I earned this.
You were like capitalist.
But my mother guided me. That was when she saw my mindset and she guided me. So that's when I started taking business classes in high school.
She's smart.
Then I started asking questions and I started getting into the stocks. So I was very young getting into saving money, having a financial plan. I got
That's
that
incredible.
at a very young age. I was 15. I bought, what was it, $1,000 worth of stocks at McDonald's, Nike.
Wait, how old?
I was 15.
No way. Yeah. We're gonna get into that. Yeah. So wait. So now you're in a new country. You're going through school. Yeah, you made your friends. You got your little clique, right?
Yeah.
But your whole mind is hustling, making money.
Well,
do you feel like maybe because of the empty, or you felt like because you did lose everything, you felt like I got to hold my own, even though you had parents that were loving and they were.
That's exactly how I felt. I wanted my own because I didn't know if they're gonna leave me. Am I gonna stay here? Like I don't know, is this forever? Because I knew what not having money, not having food was. So I had that complex. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, in the book you'll also see for the first 2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks, I got my first pair of sneakers. I slept in them. Because in the orphanage, that you have one sneaker, the kid will steal them. I mean, I've seen kids get killed over a pillow or a blanket. So I had to sleep with my sneakers because I was scared that someone was going to take them. And it wasn't until like about a week that my mother was like, it's okay, Papi, you know, no one's going to take your stuff. This is here. And I'm trying to find them. I don't know if it's somewhere stuck in, you know, my basement, my house. I'm trying to dig out some memories.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were like, I want to hold on to my
Of course, those are my first sneakers.
I don't blame you.
You know what I mean?
You probably love them, right?
And it's funny. That's why I'm a sneakerhead. They're somewhere in my house. I got to find them.
Really? I'm a sneakerhead too, like big time.
Because of that, but because I didn't have them. So that's where it comes from. People are like, you just a sneakerhead. I go, no, there's a meaning for me. For everyone else, I don't know. But it means something to me.
Exactly.
I'll never go sneakerless
and you're like,
ever again.
Nobody's taking shit from me.
Yeah. My mother thought it was a complex, but she understood it.
So both your parents that adopted you, they spoke Spanish?
So they did speak Spanish, but when I started to learn English, they didn't practice Spanish, so I lost the Spanish after a few years.
That's what happened.
But I still have certain dialects. I understand some of it. Like, you can't pull a fast one on me. Like, I know certain things.
I don't think people can really pull a fast one on you. And you know what you were born with is street smarts, and that's, to me, better than school smarts any day.
Yeah. Well, see, I do the combination. So
What are you great in math?
I was good in math. I didn't really like history, and I was so in science. And then the business, my mentality as far as wanting to be better, I didn't just want to work. Because remember, I was adopted. My father, who adopted me, he was already 6. He was retired. Like,
oh, really?
I thought all fathers were all stay at home, whatever you need.
Older.
Like, no, it wasn't until I was older. I was like, Dad, father works? I didn't know that, I'm a little kid, But like I said, I got into the stock market and saving and the financial planning early. And to be honest with you, then when I graduated high school, I went to college. I got my BA bachelor's.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Southern in Hamden, Connecticut. It wasn't for me. I really learned how to study and research, to be honest with you. If I was to do it over again and my mother was here, she would say, Steve, college is not for you. But I did it because, that's what the rest of the kids did. And then, to be honest, after I graduated college, I did the corporate world for about 1 year to 2 years. And then I became an entrepreneur. I started my own landscaping business.
And you started that at young, okay, so we'll go, so now when you said you were 15, you bought stocks at 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, so what I did is I put up $500 and my mother and father matched $500.
Did you tell them or they taught you how to do that?
They explained how the stock market works. So basically what they said is,
amazing.
Steve, all right, so how the stock market works is you have to buy into a company that you think is going to do well in the future. So what did I do? I'm a little kid, I'm at the gym, I go, Mom, all these guys are wearing the t-shirt that says you on it, which was Under Armour back in the day. So I invested into Under Armour. And every time as a little kid, what did I want on the weekends? I wanted French fries. So I go, Dad, all these kids eat French fries. I want some stock in McDonald's. So what happened was over time, it built up. And then I did very well on that.
Wow.
So that's how they taught me. And now being older, I do research, as far as...
Well, then you really got into it.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, shit, I'm making money like this. I'm going to, figure it out. But you naturally just had it. I wouldn't figure that shit out at 15.
Naturally, I had the gift of putting certain pieces together. But you still have to research when to buy it. How much do you buy it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's not like a normal. Don't think like everyone can do that.
And it's funny because I think everyone's supposed to think like that.
Definitely not. It's just not. And you know how you said you have like a little bit of both with school and street smart? I'm going to tell you that is the rarest thing. That to me is probably why you're so successful, because to have that is like magical. Everyone I know is either one or the other. Like my daughter, I have 2 daughters, and one is she was super smart naturally in school. Just
God bless.
Giselle, yeah, God bless her. Giselle, I would tell Giselle, I never worry. Like even when the teacher would be like, oh, I'm like, Giselle is so street smart. Like she just blessed with the common sense. Like
picks up things quick.
Right, and I'm like, I would never worry about her because it's either you have one or the other. That's the way it is. But if you have a little bit of a mix, that's just the best mix you can have.
Well, you got to learn that as you go. And I learned that when I got older. And then when I got my first business, so I graduated college and then having my first business as a landscaping business, then I learned I have to be professional to get certain accounts. So you can cut one grass by yourself. I'm like, okay, so if I can hire 5 guys and do 15 lawns, I can get more money and then I don't have to cut grass? Oh, yeah. But to get those accounts, you got to talk to someone that can pay you. And usually those people are well-spoken, educated, clean-cut.
Right.
So then that's when I had to start filling the role, cleaning myself up, haircuts, dressing nicely, speaking properly, and then listening to them.
You know what? People can think what you think all day long, but you're leaving out the fact that you're a hard worker.
They have no idea. Because
anyone could just sit there and just be like, look, I could hire 5 guys, I could do this, I could do that. If you're not working, and working, you ain't gonna do shit. you're not going to be a millionaire. You never be successful. These, people could think all day long, talk shit, go out, have a drink, and not succeed.
You want to know what's crazy? Many people don't know this in the book. I worked 2 jobs while I was a millionaire. People think just because the book came out, I became a millionaire. I've been a millionaire.
Prior to doing it. And
of
then
course.
Who told you, did you just always want to tell your story? Or did anyone say you should write a book?
No, to be honest with you, so I was working on a few of my projects, and then, into the TV, film, and then podcasts. I came across a producer, and I told him really what happened in my life while I was doing a Tubi movie. And he said, yo, Steve, you really got to write a book. And I was like, oh, listen, some of my best friends didn't know really what I went through, because that's not something you talk about. Oh, by the way, listen, my mom and dad, they got shot up. My sister, she got her head blown up. It's not something you talk about. But how he told it to me, he goes, Steve, you can inspire other people.
Of course.
And then that hit me. So once that really hit me, and I realized if I share my story and there's any man or women out there that are going through anything and they feel helpless, if this can inspire one person to be the best they can be, that would be, everything for me. And that's when I started it. And I started the writing process last September, and it was about a 4-month process.
Did you feel that it helped relieve any stress from you, or going back into time was tough?
Well, the first part of the book, it was tough because then I had to, relive certain situations, and then really dig about my feelings of how mentally I was, losing my parents, getting new family. I felt guilty almost loving my new family because of the family that left me. I felt guilty. Why did I live? Sometimes when I get sad to this day, I still think about that. There was times that I thought about taking my life when things were really stressed out or not going my way, because I'm like, why would God, save me if I got to go through this? But now after writing the book, it's easier for me. Some of the people reaching out, we love your story, you inspired me, that makes me feel good, and to me that's
You're
something money can't buy.
inspiring me. Just sitting there telling me your story, you're inspiring me. I can't imagine how many people or how many lives you're going to touch, and so many kids go through such hard times, and they go through a lot.
That means a lot to me right there.
There's so much. It's not even just one thing. If a kid went through so much trauma, maybe a kid going to a new country, you're hitting on so many people probably look at this, or maybe they have a kid that's struggling, and their mom can buy it and be like, look at this kid.
And it doesn't have
Look what
to
happened with him.
They don't have to be orphans. I'm saying
No,
any
exactly.
person with any
Of course,
stress, whether
exactly.
it's financial, whether it's a marriage, whether it's emotional stress. I came, to be honest with you, after my parents were killed, I cried many nights asking for God's help. And I didn't want anything given to me. All I said is ask that He'd take care of me, be healthy, so that I could work my ass off. And that's it. You know what I mean? My first gift was I have life.
That you have faith.
I got life, right? So then the next thing, I need my health. So then it's time to have action. So if I have my life, then I have my health, I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it,
That's incredible. That's fucking incredible. You have some story, man. You have kids of your own?
I do.
How many?
I have 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 13-year-old.
You do? Boy, girl?
2 boys. My oldest son is Julian and my youngest son is Julius.
They must be like my father is. I was going to say gangster, but that's the way
I get it.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
From me, gangster, I said that one time in the kitchen. My father's like, what do you mean? That woman's not gangster. I'm like, no, it's a compliment.
No.
I
get it. So
no, they must look at you like, wow. I mean, that's kind of an amazing bar to set.
My oldest son is both of my kids are honors.
God bless them.
They're doing better in school than I was. I'm very hard on them because they're going to be in certain positions that they have to be educated. But to touch on what you said, my oldest son, he's more of that. He likes the boss position, but doesn't understand the responsibilities. So what I'm doing with him, when he turns 17, I'm buying him his first apartment building when he's 17. So he's going to learn. He's not going to get the profits. He's going to learn to manage it. You know, the tenants, cutting the grass, doing the paperwork, doing the insurance. And then he has to work a part-time job. This is the plan. Work a part-time job, and then I'll feed him some of the money monthly until he really understands it, and then I could back off.
So smart.
Now, my little son, he is the one that dances back and forth with, I can do the school, all right, I can get away with this over here. He's different.
The second is always different.
He's different.
I always say the second child, if anyone had them first, they wouldn't have the second. I'm the second child.
But I'm blessed.
I feel like if my mother had me first, she probably would have been like, let's wrap this up.
Well, I'm just blessed that, first of all, that they're healthy, they're doing great in school,
exactly.
They're very polite, and then now I'm just giving them the knowledge that I learned when I was older and the experiences. I can't force them to have experiences, but what I can do is I can give them experiences that are in controlled environments. So, for example, both my kids understand they both make money online playing video games.
Oh, they do?
They do.
That's awesome.
They do.
Imagine being able to do that.
I didn't have video games. I used to ride a bike to a friend's house to play video games. You know, both of my kids got computers, cell phones, and, you know, they're probably on their phones right now. It's a Dad, I don't know. They'll call me, Dad, can you pick this up at pizza, blah, blah, blah. My other son, Dad, I just ordered this on my debit card. It's completely different. I've spent $400 a month just on video games.
You have to like try now as a father, find that balance, not to spoil them. Here's everything, right. They'll fuck it up. And it's like a middle ground. That's why the way you're doing it is smart. You got to put in the work.
That's right.
Nobody in life just gives you anything. I will help you because I'm your father. And if I can, I will.
It's hard.
But
it's
you
really
have to work.
Yeah. I'm finding that balance. I'm finding that balance
It's not easy to find that balance because then the kid will feel like like when my daughter was in school, oh, everybody has the new cell phone, everybody has the new, you know, and at the time, her father was like, just buy the cell. I'm like, get great grades, get the cell phone. Mm-hmm. I mean,
what's the problem?
You know, a kid can't work at that age, but that's, you know, there is no problem.
That's right.
And she aced it, you know, here's my grade, it's like, you know, that's life. Mm-hmm. You work hard, you get your paycheck.
You get it, yeah.
You know, it's no different. I feel like all the kids I've seen that were really super spoiled, it did not work out great for them.
I do things differently, like I said. For me, I spoil my kids, but they don't get in trouble. They do their chores. But they listen to mommy and daddy.
No, you reward your kids.
Yeah. But I'm working on that, not trying, because
you also want to give them because you didn't have.
I didn't have.
I know.
But it's hard, but I need them to learn certain things, you know.
And be respectful of it and understand hard work. Okay, so now you are in the nightclub business. Mm-hmm. So you really tapped into a million different things, right? So I
got into a lot of different businesses, yes.
But I feel like that's how people become very successful. They're not just one.
That's right.
I mean, I read a lot of books about that, and they're never just doing one thing. They're just like tapping into, that's all different incomes coming in.
That's right.
That's good. Good shit. So what happened with the nightclub? You owned one or no?
So I owned 2 nightclubs. I bought my first nightclub, I was 26. I bought that, and then I did is I built it into 2 nightclubs. So I broke it into 2 different nightclubs because I realized that if I had 2 different nightclubs with 2 different things going on, I had twice as much opportunity to make money than having 1 nightclub.
You see? You got to follow the lead here. That's smart. What was the club called?
It was in Danbury, Connecticut. I bought Tuxedo Junction. I bought 49.1% of the club, and then I did construction, and I built another nightclub called Club Lush. So on one side of the building, I had Club Lush as a small nightclub, and then my big nightclub was Club Tuxedo Junction. That's where I had all the rap shows. I had the Jersey Shore there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that Club Lush.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big club. That's a beautiful club, though.
I built it.
Wow. Yeah. See, from scratch. And then, so do your kids like love the club, or you keep them out of it?
So my oldest one at the time, he was alive when I had my nightclub. I brought him. He was, I want to say, 5 when I was doing a teen party, because I wanted him to see what daddy was doing. And I know people don't. That's not a good idea. I want my kids to know what their father does and be proud of what I do and have an idea. So I had security escort him in. You know, he got on stage. He got to see all the kids jumping on down and music. And then I brought him to my office. He met all the security. And then I had a driver bring him back home to make sure he was secure at my house.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so I was in the nightclub business for about 8 years. One of my associates didn't listen to me and went left and ended up in federal prison. And I went left, and then that's when I retired for a few years. And then I got into commercial roofing because when my nightclub and my associates were under federal investigation, I had to lay low. So I got a regular job after being retired for a while. So I became a commercial roofer because no one would hire me being under federal investigation, answering certain things, you know what I'm saying? Detectives asked me questions. This went on for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
They probably just were haters. You were being
Well,
successful.
they want to know.
Well, your partners had a situation, right?
So my partner was Al Cocomo. They subpoenaed him. They didn't subpoena me.
He went to jail?
No. He didn't go to jail. Our associate Ian Bick went to prison. I met that young man when he was young, and he did teen parties. And then he started doing the rap shows with the big rappers, Big Sean. You know, I
That's
did
awesome.
French Montana back in the day when he just signed. A whole bunch, Jim Jones, you know, Cassidy. I did it all. I mean, I was in the entertainment business.
You know, I did a remix for French Montana.
Oh, you did? I did.
Everything's
yeah.
Go. Yeah.
Yep. So I got into the nightclub business. That was when I was really understanding, you know, using my knowledge from college, and now the street knowledge at top tier. Now learning how to market myself as far as being the face of the nightclub, but not having my business in the streets.
Right.
My business is the streets, but my business isn't in the streets.
Right.
You know, and learning to maneuver certain legal activities and illegal activities while still functioning in a nightclub. I had stabbings, shootings, rapings, drugging.
In the club.
Nightclub inside, it was a normal day. I hate to say this.
I
normal.
I know.
And it was during that time when I had serious talks with my mother. And, you know, my mother's like, Steve, I know you're changing because you're becoming immune to certain things. You know, a girl drinks too much, she passes out. Yeah, just move the body over. This is my property. This is city property. That's a city problem. That's not my problem.
And she felt you were changing as a person
So
too,
I was changing. So remember, this is the time that I'm learning to how do I deal with this as a man and how do I deal with this as a business person? Because I got into the nightclub to make money, and that's it. I didn't get into the business to make friends. So when your back is against the wall, we got raided at ATF. What is it? The liquor commissioner. That's all another day at the office for me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It happened so much, so I learned how to maneuver what to do, you know, through my partner being in the nightclub business for about 50 years. You know,
so you
40,
learned
50
from
years.
your partner, and then you picked up on
Yes, so
what's
basically
right.
what happened is that him and his partner wanted to sell the whole nightclub. I said, listen, I'm going to give you an offer. I'll buy 50% of the nightclub. After 4 years, you teach me what you know, and I can get the money to where I need it to be. I'll then give you a monthly note on the other 50% of the club. Now, at first, they turned down the deal. And I told my attorney and my mother, I said, they're going to take the deal. Because the amount of money they want for this club, not the average person has.
Right.
So I go, they're going to take the deal. 3 months later, I get a phone call. Would you sit down, blah, blah, blah. This is in Danbury. Sacalzo Property Management, they handled the brokerage stuff. Mr. Prohaska, what do you have? So I laid out the deal for him. I said, listen, you're going to train me for 4 years. After 4 years, when I see them, X amount of dollars coming in, and I have enough knowledge, I will say I'm willing to sign to start paying on the other 50%. So what happened was that's how we started the business partnership, but we never got to the finances to be comfortable for me to take over the other 50%. So I just stayed partners until I basically walked out when certain things were going downhill as far as the federal investigation.
It was just too much. It was like too much heat, and you were just like, I gotta get out of
Well, I was thinking long picture. I was saving my name.
Right.
Because my partner, he's been in the nightclub business for a while. Already made all of his money. I was on the rise, but that business was going down. So for me, I said, listen, I learned what I needed to learn. I'm going to exit. And then that's when I retired for a while. But I still stayed in contact, with my partner, because I got into the commercial roofing, and then I got into the trucking industry. He actually helped me with my trucking business, doing the paperwork. I used to own the big rigs. I started off with the box truck, and then I bought, I think I was like 6 or 7 big rigs.
That's incredible.
So I got into the trucking industry.
But how did you have time to do everything? You just
I make the time.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, in the trucking industry, I left the nightclub industry. I was just tired for a little bit. Then I got into, the commercial roofing. I got working to a car parts store for a little bit. I was refining myself, like, what do I do?
But do you have the personality where you don't, you go where you're going to make money. It's not like you really give two shits about it. You're like, oh, there's a wrench. If I could sell 15,000 of them, I can make money from it. Not an attachment. So you're not really a attached type person. You're more of a detached, so you can go around.
Correct.
And you're not the one, oh, let me stay with the job. I love my, people stay at a job they love so much. They don't make a lot of money, but they're just happy, which is fine. People are happy with what they're doing.
That's not me.
What makes you happy is being on the go. Your brain probably just doesn't sit still. Your body,
it doesn't.
And it's got to keep going, and how you can just make it happen. But you just so happen to have also a little bit of luck.
I would say,
things, I know not everything's luck, but some people are just blessed and a little bit of lucky because you're choosing the right thing at the right time. I know people that have invested in one thing and got fucking destroyed.
But don't get me wrong, I lost a lot of money along the way, but the thing that I did is I always doubled to triple down. So even when I had the nightclub, I had other things going on. I had an online business. Sometimes I would I would work for, Scott's Lawn Service. So I had multiple streams of income. But when I realized, I think that I was 29, 30, that's when I realized that, listen, I got to really make money to make more money until you can't make money yourself.
But you're betting on yourself because I
always bet on myself, yeah.
No, but that's why you said I double down because you know Big Steve is going to make that shit happen. Yeah. It's not like you're doing it and, let me see if this guy can make it happen. You know you will make it happen because you're a hard worker.
I had the will and the drive, and then I had the support, from my mother and father, go after, your dreams.
Yeah.
My dream was to have a nightclub, and how I got into the nightclub is my father asked me, where would you be if you weren't working? I go, well, I like pretty women. I like drinks. At first, I was like, well, strip club. And then I was like, I don't know if I can handle all those personalities of the dancers. So I was like, a nightclub. And so I was bouncing at a nightclub while working for a while, and then I got close with the owners. I was like, Dad, he has a nice car. He's got a lot of money. He has women. He's flying in women left and right. That's the life I want. This college life, that's not it. So then I was asking questions to the owners. So why do you do this? So why do you do that? Why do you do this? So why do you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? I'm that guy asking questions on everything. Why are you doing the paperwork like that? Why is your insurance on this? I looked on your insurance paperwork. Why are you only covered for X amount of dollars? And when you ask certain questions, as we all know, they're either going to take you in or they're going to say, get out of here.
Right. You asked too many questions. But they also saw that you wanted to learn. There's a big difference. You weren't being nosy. You wanted to learn.
That's it. So I started at that time learning where to put the pieces together. I started making a lot of money. One of the shows I did, I made about $40,000 in 3 hours. You know what I mean? From a rap show. But people thought, I'm just going to splurge. What they don't realize is that half of that was my partner's, and then half of that I saved, and I pretended like I never made money. Because what I learned in the nightclub business is that you got to always keep a straight face. There can be a shooting, something bad happens, I'm fine. I made $1 million, I'm fine. Because I can't allow people to dictate my actions, especially if there's things going on either with the law, people's safety, and what's going on in the environment. But like I said, I started making a lot of money there, and then I would go to my mother, Mom, I'm gonna put X amount of dollars here, where do I put it? Boom, I'll put money aside. While I was running the nightclub business.
Did you feel like you had a hard time trusting people?
The only two people I trusted, to be honest with you, was my mother. My mother was the finance woman. She's the one that guided me. Okay, Steve, you got $10,000. This company will go do this. The nightclub partner, I was learning. My family didn't trust him. I trusted him because I went through certain situations that I won't speak about that.
Right.
I'm here.
They showed you that you can trust them.
But see, it's hard because the parents, my mother knew, she goes, how can I trust him if he's very good at what he does and what he does isn't on paper? So there's a balance. All I say to my mother and my family is, I'm here, I'm alive. Please don't take that for granted.
And it's just incredible. I mean, this guy is amazing, right?
No, I mean
it's amazing. Do you realize how amazing it is? Like, you just keep going, and it's incredible.
But I
Some
told
people
you,
can't handle
I told you
one
at the
thing.
beginning that's the chip.
Yeah.
I'm now at a stage in my life. I'm helping set up my best friend. He'll be getting his first apartment building soon, and my manager Lance, I'm helping him get into the healthcare industry that he owns. So their lives are changing, and it's just not me paying guys. I want them to have their own.
Yeah, you're a rare breed.
That's
Believe me.
that's my happiness. I can go do whatever I want, pretty much, but it's not the same if I go shopping. He got to stay home, or she can't go. You know what I mean? That's not how I am.
I feel like you're going to give a lot of hope to a lot of people. A lot of people that are going to read the book are going to be just, they're going to be like, look what he did. Look at what the things he achieved. It doesn't mean that they have to do what, you're one of a kind.
To be the best you.
To even, right, and to have faith in yourself.
And
And
now
just have faith in
I'm
people.
doing speeches now. I got hired.
You
Yeah, I'm doing motivational speeches.
Okay.
I got hired in Connecticut. I was the guest or the keynote speaker for a graduating class in Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out to the adult ed in Hartford. Thank you for having me, and congratulations to the graduating class. I was the keynote speaker for them, and I'm actually trying to get into the school system, the high schools and colleges, to motivate these young men and women. Because I feel like they don't realize the opportunity they have. And now I say that because I went to college and I didn't maximize my time or my efforts.
So you're going to be able to really help them because, I feel like with school, college, anything, they just like, okay, you got to learn math, science, blah, blah, blah. Me personally, I always feel like the kid, if they're just great, usually they use left side, right side of the brain, smart with math, better with reading. Take what the kids are great at and push them towards that and let them master it.
But see, that's the parent's job and also the individual's job to
Right.
know who they are.
Right, exactly.
See, that's different. Once you find out who you are, then you can go. This is why I said school's not for everybody, but if
Right.
you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a specific sort of field, you need schooling for that.
You got to see what your kid loves. Like, my kids are gifted in their own way. They're so smart in their own way. Everything's their own way. Everybody's an individual. But I think you being out there speaking, and I think that's incredible. That's great.
Well,
That's good
I
for
enjoy
you to
that.
do.
That I actually love because I connect with the students, and not just students, just even corporations, as far as being the best that they can be.
Right.
And I say that from my heart because I came literally from nothing. Everything was taken away from me, and this is my chance for me. Now it's up to everyone out there what they do with their life. You know what I mean? You can't choose the cards you have, but you can choose how you play them.
Exactly.
So that's the route that I'm going, and then I have a podcast.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. We got to definitely put the link to your podcast. What's your podcast?
Parental Vision. So you can check us
Really?
out on TikTok.
Parental Vision. It's
Shout
on
out.
TikTok?
TikTok, Instagram,
Everywhere.
Facebook, all over social media.
Okay.
That's
You have it on Spotify too?
Yep, Spotify,
Everywhere.
Apple
So
Podcast,
it's available
everything.
everywhere.
Yep. So
So what we're going to do with Big Steve is, you see what an incredible person he is. We're going to get his book. And I want to have you back. You have to come back.
of course.
You have to.
Thank you.
Oh, look at these pictures.
Yeah, that's right.
Check this out. I'm going to let you get a little peek. I just so happened to open it on this spot. So don't even show it, because my hands right now, I have no nails. You know how I get obsessive like that, like a fucking plumber. I could fix the plumbing right now with these hands. But this is very cool.
That's my nightclub
I
pick.
can't wait to read it.
Really?
But I mean, you just have achieved so much. I hope you feel that you will be full one day. I feel like you're missing that.
Well,
Do you
to
feel
be
like
honest
you're
with you,
missing
other than having this done, the last two things that I want to do is make this into a movie. I got to connect with the right people and make this into a movie so people can see it in action. And then I actually have a TV show that I filmed, Single Fathers, which I'm trying to get on the network. Because I want the world to know that the fathers out there do great jobs. There are fathers that don't do great jobs, but I want the recognition for the fathers that are going through hell and doing amazing
Right,
as a
there's
father.
so many single dads out there going through hell. They always shout out. I know me personally, like on X or anything, I always shout out the single dads included with the single moms.
So
a lot of people don't do that.
Those are the two big projects that once I'm done, then I'll ease back a little bit. And then, to be honest with you, I'm going to let my two best friends take the reins on the next two TV shows, and then they can live their dreams.
So you basically, like, you plowed through everything to achieve what you want. You work hard. You've done incredible things. I mean, this should be a movie. I didn't even read the book, but just from talking to you, I would love to see that on a big
Let's
screen.
talk about that and make that happen for the world.
Yeah, I think that is necessary. But I have to tell you something. Your story is just fascinating. I find you to be an amazing, incredible person. I really, truly am so happy that you came here. And I'm so happy everyone gets to hear your story and read your book. I'm going to put the link so everybody could get his book. Because if you hang with Big Steve, you could see you're just a great person. And I think what you endured and everything you've been through in your life, I think that people are really going to find this, I can't wait to read it, but fascinating, incredible. And I have to tell you, I'm really happy you came.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are something else.
Thank you, thank you.
Big Steve. That's a good fucking name for you, boy.